Hello, how are you? Today I've prepared a list that you're going to love. I've picked out 10 delicious foods that are very low in calories, and I'm going to tell you more about these options. Including recipes you can use in your daily routine to mix things up, you're going to love them. Stick around until the end because you won't want to miss them. If you love tips on nutrition, health, and fitness, you're going to love this channel, so go ahead and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell to get updates. I post new videos every day, and you're going to love them. Let's start talking about this list, which I think is really necessary because it's very helpful if you're in the process of losing weight, especially when we think about the concept of volumetric dieting, where you eat foods with a lot of volume but few calories, with a low caloric density. So with that, you can eat more of these foods, feel fuller, and keep losing weight, since the calorie content is really very low. Let's get started with our list. The first food I put on the list is cauliflower because I think it's so versatile. It has very few calories, is very rich in fiber, has a high water content, and very little carbohydrates. Cauliflower is a great substitute for potatoes, and it can even replace rice, like in cauliflower rice. You can make a baked rice dish with vegetables, more seasonings, and even some shredded chicken if you want. Cauliflower is very versatile. You can make mashed cauliflower, pastries, pancakes. I have a lot of recipes, and I'll leave a playlist of cauliflower recipes for you down below in the description. The second food on our list is zucchini. Zucchini is also very versatile, has very few calories, low in carbohydrates, lots of fiber, high water content, excellent for intestinal transit, and helps you feel full for longer. Zucchini has a very neutral flavor and a really good texture. It's great for zucchini lasagna, for example, works well in pancakes. You can bread it and bake it in the oven with a bit of parmesan and seasonings. It's very versatile. There's also a playlist of zucchini recipes here. I'll leave it down below in the description for you. Eggplant is another vegetable that's low in calories and full of flavor. When I think of eggplant, I immediately think of eggplant dip, which is a really good option, even to eat with other vegetables or with a healthy toast that you like. It's a much lower calorie option than mayonnaise and other choices in that sense. You can also make eggplant lasagna, which is delicious, or stuffed eggplant with vegetables, chicken, beef. Eggplant is super versatile. You can saute it, cook it with eggs with tomato sauce. It turns out wonderful. I'll also leave my playlist of eggplant recipes here for you. Tomato is also an option that we often think of more as a seasoning, a side dish, or a salad, something like that, but it can actually be the main course. I have a recipe for tomato stuffed with egg here, which is wonderful. You can also use tomato as the base for a homemade tomato sauce to complement other recipes, with far fewer calories than, for example, a white sauce. So tomato can be the star of your dish. And I'll leave my playlist of tomato recipes here. Remember that it has very few calories, a high water content, plenty of fiber, and a wonderful flavor. Broccoli is another amazing option. It's from the same family as cauliflower. It has a slightly stronger flavor, but it works really well in creams and soups. It thickens soups nicely without needing to add potatoes. You can bake it au gratin in the oven with a bit of yogurt and some cheese, just to give it a special flavor. It can be roasted together with meats or chicken. It's very versatile and extremely nutritious, one of the superfoods we have. It's very rich in fiber and antioxidants. I'll leave a playlist of recipes with broccoli. You can even use raw broccoli in green juice, and it's an excellent addition. Cucumber is another one of those foods that we usually only eat in salads: lettuce, tomato, and cucumber. But remember that it's actually very versatile. You can make cucumber boats by scooping out a bit of the top and filling them with tuna, shredded chicken, or even ground beef. You can use cucumber sticks to eat with a low-calorie dip or a light cheese. It can also be a great addition to your salad, adding crunch and a wonderful flavor. I'll leave my playlist of cucumber recipes for you as well. Tell me, what's your favorite cucumber recipe? Chiote is another one of those vegetables that's very versatile and has a neutral flavor, so it fits well in various recipes. And we can also eat chiote raw. I don't know if you knew that. Some people aren't aware of it. Chiote is rich in potassium, has a high water content, helps a lot with reducing bloating, contains a lot of fiber, very few calories, very little carbohydrate, and it works well in a variety of recipes. In fact, there's a recipe I also like to make, which is stuffed chiote. You cook the chiote, cut off a bit of the top, just like you would with a potato, and stuff it with meat and a bit of cheese. It's delicious and very low in calories. Of course, lettuce has to be on this list because I think it's the leafy green we eat the most, but leafy greens in general are included here. And my suggestion for you is not just to add leafy greens to your salad. A good option is to replace the corn or wheat tortilla in a wrap with lettuce. You can add whatever fillings you like: chicken, egg, tuna, and instead of using a regular tortilla, you use lettuce, which is really crunchy, delicious, and has way fewer calories. Moving on to sweets, which we also need to talk about, one of the fruits with the fewest calories and that is super delicious to add is the strawberry. and it's actually very versatile. You can eat it plain, add it to smoothies, make juice, put it in green juice. It has very few calories and very little carbohydrate, is rich in antioxidants, and is excellent for our health. And I also have a playlist of strawberry recipes here, including ice cream, which I'll leave for you down below in the description. Last but not least, I included gelatin here because on top of everything else, it's a very interesting source of protein. It has a neutral flavor, works well in both sweet and savory dishes, and helps give a good consistency to recipes. It has few calories, zero carbohydrates, and is rich in protein, as I mentioned, so it can be a good way to balance your recipes. You can even make, for example, strawberry gelatin by combining 2 low-calorie ingredients. It will still have a very low calorie count and a wonderful flavor, or you can use it in other recipes. Let me know if you usually add gelatin to your everyday recipes. Remember that when I talk about gelatin, I'm referring to unflavored, colorless, and neutral gelatin without any sugar. If you like these lists, I'll leave some other really interesting ones here as well. For example, lists of foods that have more calories than we think, or more carbohydrates than we imagine. They'll be down below in the description. Which of these foods surprised you the most, and which one are you going to start including more often in your daily routine? I would love to see your comment. Remember to like the video, because that really helps me out, and share it with someone who will enjoy it, with someone who needs it. Let's expand this chain of good together, because that's what I want for this channel. See you next time, bye!